The quiet hum of suburban life on Maplewood Lane was shattered one Friday morning when Karen, the self-appointed HOA enforcer, decided to take matters into her own hands. She had always had an opinion about how things should run, how the landscaping looked, how neighbors parked, and apparently how mail should be handled. That morning, her target was my mailbox. I'm a retired Army veteran, and after decades of serving overseas, I never imagined my own community could betray that trust. But Karen didn't care about that. When I came home to find my mailbox emptied, letters ripped, bills scattered, packages tossed across the lawn, I felt that familiar anger rising. She had even thrown away a letter marked official military correspondence, clearly intended for me. At first, I thought about confronting her directly. I knocked on her door, and she opened it with her usual smirk. "Just helping with the neighborhood," she said, holding a handful of my mail like trophies. I asked politely for my letters back. She laughed, dismissing me. "Rules are rules. I don't see what the big deal is." The big deal, I realized, was bigger than a few letters. Tampering with mail, especially government and military mail, is a federal offense. And Karen had just committed it in broad daylight. I calmly left and went straight to the local post office. The postal inspector listened as I explained what had happened, her eyes widening as I handed over the scattered mail I had recovered from the lawn. "You need to report this immediately," the inspector said. "This is serious. She could be facing jail time." Meanwhile, word of Karen's antics had spread through the neighborhood. People who once nodded politely at her HOA rules were now whispering behind her back. But Karen was undeterred. She strutted around the neighborhood like she owned the place, completely oblivious to the storm heading her way. 2 days later, federal agents showed up at her door. The look on her face was priceless: shock, horror, and then panic. "This is a misunderstanding," she stammered. But the inspector wasn't interested in debates. "Ma'am, you are under arrest for mail theft, obstruction of mail, and interference with government correspondence," one of them said, reading her rights. She tried to argue, claiming she was just helping the HOA keep things neat. The agents didn't flinch. They confiscated the pile of mail she had been hoarding and led her out in handcuffs. Neighbors watched from behind curtains, some smirking, some shaking their heads in disbelief. Back at my house, I sorted through the rescued letters. There were bills, personal notes, and official military correspondence. I realized how easily someone with power or the illusion of it could disrupt lives. But I also felt a sense of relief. Justice had been served, and it was swift. The HOA, embarrassed by the scandal, issued a public statement promising better oversight and respect for residents' privacy. Karen, on the other hand, faced federal charges that could put her in prison for years. Her obsession with control had backfired spectacularly. It was a lesson for the entire community. Nobody, not even an overzealous HOA member, is above the law. And for me, it was a reminder that standing up for what's right, no matter how small the act, can protect not just yourself but the integrity of the entire neighborhood. That night, I sat on my porch with a cup of coffee, mailbox intact, letters safely in hand, and thought about the irony. Karen had tried to disrupt my life, but in the end, she'd only reminded everyone on Maplewood Lane that respect and justice can't be thrown away like unwanted junk mail.